questions. I'd love to have a dialogue with you. But also, for anybody that wants to get involved in politics, and I think I still think politics has a bad name to it, but it's still one of the most noble professions because you can accomplish a great deal. And I would inspire all of you to look at public service and to get involved in politics because it does make a difference. And all of you have that potential. And to the extent you want to get involved in my campaign, I encourage you to sign up as a McCaul Marshal and get involved in my campaign. And I'll work with you. And I want to inspire the young people. I'm concerned that, this president kind of swept a whole generation of young people. And it's our responsibility, I think, as Republicans in the Congress and elsewhere to try to recapture the young people like Reagan did with my generation. I want to inspire young people to get involved in politics and public service. So I encourage you to sign up and work with my team, and I think it'll be very, very exciting. So with that, I'll be love to take any questions y'all may have. Yes, sir.
If y'all do hopefully take back the House in December, November, what would be the top 3 things that y'all would try to do first, assuming you get the House?
Well, I think we need to, and let me just say, it depends on, with health care, they have one last trick up their sleeve, and it's to go through the reconciliation process, which essentially means the Senate's already passed a bill, House has, but the Senate can send their version over, and it would pass. And then they go through what's called reconciliation. It's a way to get around the filibuster. That's a problem they find themselves in right now with Scott Brown. They can get around the filibuster by using reconciliation, which is just a budgetary process, taxing and spending without the regulatory stuff. And they are very, very seriously considering doing this. And then they would send that to the president, and he would sign it because they know they're running out of time. This is their last hope. And they've got a lot of pressure from their base and the far left to get it done. I think the political ramifications to that and the backlash would be extraordinary in 210. I mean, the momentum is already shifting our way strongly, but I think if that happened, you'll see a huge backlash. So I would say if that does pass, and I think we need to turn the clock back on that. And then I would say getting control of the spending, making sure that we have a tax rate, fundamental tax reform, and getting control of the spending. And that's going to have to include, that's going to have to include the entitlements. And we can't sustain this course. That's eating up the mandatory spending in the budget. Takes up so much, and it's growing so much like a monster that it's going to bankrupt you all. It already is. When you talk about $14 trillion in debt, think about when the baby boomers retire and we have to deal with this issue as well. We've got to reform this because it's a train wreck. So I mean, I would say, reforming, and the president's got this commission. It's not bipartisan. I'd argue for like a BRAC, base closure commission type thing where they make recommendations. It goes to the House for up or down vote. Makes it a lot easier. Most politicians don't want to touch Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security. Now, we tried to privatize Social Security so you could put your own money in the system and actually get a good rate of return as opposed to the maybe less than 1% you get now. And they're all IOU checks. There's no money there to actually pay for it. That's the fiction as well. But I think reforming this massive spending, getting the debt under control, tax reform to help small businesses, and then rolling back the clock on health care if it passes. Yes, sir.
When the president met with y'all in Baltimore, it seemed like he was being like a little pedantic and being like, look at me, I'm the good guy for meeting with the opposition of the party, even though. And I was just wondering your take on that.
Look, he's good. He's. I mean, let's be honest. He is very articulate, very smooth, and very deceptive. Like I said earlier, he ran on this campaign of red, white, and blue. Everybody liked that. They want us to work together in the Congress. And he is governed from the far left, and Pelosi's run the House like a dictatorship. It hadn't happened. And now he's suddenly trying to re-spin his message after the Scott Brown election. So I think he's, in a lot of ways, a master of deception. And it's this old Chicago-style politics that he's got going on, with, Rahm Emanuel in the White House. I personally, when I talked to leadership, I thought it was a mistake. Because I thought he can't, we were winning big time. It was right after Scott Brown. And I thought we gave him a little bit of a boost and a little bit of a platform. And when he's got the pulpit, he would take a question, but then he'd take a long time answering it, and he got his message out. And he looked good. And I think the optics are exactly what you're talking about in terms of it looked like, okay, I'm willing to walk into the mouth of the lion here, and I'm the good guy trying to deal with these obstructionists, in the Republican Party, which is not the truth. But I think that was sort of the optics. And then it enabled him to say, I want to have a healthcare summit on February 25th. And we said, okay, we'll be willing to do that if you'll start from scratch and talk about things we can agree on. Like pre-existing conditions can't be disqualified. Like portability of insurance, like purchasing insurance across state lines to make it more competitive. We have a lot of good ideas that we could pass tomorrow if they were allowed to go to the floor for a vote, as opposed to this giant government-controlled bureaucracy, public option takeover of healthcare. And so I think he kind of won the PR on that. And now they're trying to really manipulate it. Oh, we'll invite you out to Camp David. It was an interesting experience. And I thought some of the media were a little unfair, because I thought the questions from some of my colleagues were not. It was not mean-spirited at all. The questions were very sincere, I thought, and genuine, and respectful. But yes, sir.
Sorry, I came in a little late. I was coming from another meeting in which we're organizing students as well. These are students who want to be politically active. And that's kind of the work that I've been involved with on campus, at the local level, at the state and national level. And I've been working with a lot of students who are getting more into the political arena, and they really are out there advocating for issues that they care for. And one thing that just stood out was the fact that you want to inspire young people to go work right for just and to get into the politics of things, help you out and do all these things that we know our country needs. And one of the things that I find in the group of students that I'm working with is that they have one big problem, which is they're educated, they're graduating from high school, they're graduating from college, but they have this one huge problem, which is that they're undocumented. And from the